What's going on, everyone? It's the People's Envoy Updog here with you again, and today we have a great video for you talking about the top 10 teams to invest in, not only for Crucible but for other modes. They're great in other modes too. So before we get into it, I just want to say, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I would really appreciate it. I know it gets super annoying hearing that all the time from everybody, but it really does help my channel grow. So with that said, let's get into it. Alright, so in no particular order, this is going to be the top 10 teams we're going to talk about. So first up is going to be one of my favorites, as you can probably tell, with all the diamonds and the gear and everything, Spider Society. Now, obviously they're great in the raids, they're great in war, especially right now with the buffs that we have going on, but they're also great in Crucible. There are things that can make them more tricky. There are rooms that can make them a little bit harder, like room 5 is going to be rough. Like room 5 this season in season 10 is going to be a good room for them. Room 4 is going to be really good for them. Even room 1 if you do the full team. Now there are other characters you can, take out a Noir or a Ghost Spider and put like a pre-taunt tank in there, or some other kind of character, maybe Black Knight, something to just elevate this team even more. But just by themselves, they're still really tough. They scale really well with the stats, so Spider Society is a great team to invest in right now. Alright, so the next team that I really like to have, not only for Crucible, for other modes, is going to be in general just most of the Sinister Six characters. So these top 7 characters that you see here are all great investments to have in the game, not only for Crucible but for war. And all these tech characters here are great in the tech lane right now until we get the Orcus team. They've been carrying pretty hard for me in the tech raids. So overall, really great investment in all of these 7 characters here. Vulture has some really great mechanics. Vulture and Mysterio both have some really great mechanics if they have some superior 6 allies with them. So that's why I included them in this list. If you're going to put the Superior or Sinister Six team on defense for Crucible, they'd probably be good in room 1, 2, or 6, I would say. So keep that in mind. Now, next up is going to be the Annihilator team. Of course, they're the brand new, latest and greatest team. Usually in Marvel Strike Force, that means that they're going to be one of the best teams, and because they're arena team, that is the case here. I don't know how the Orcus team or the Night Stalker team is going to play out, if that's going to keep the trend going or not, but as of right now, they're a great team. Obviously, you can add in new characters in there to take them to the next level, like Super Scroll, or you can even do a Black Knight, a double pre-taunt tank on that team. So, but overall, great team to invest in, really strong, not just Crucible, but for war as well. So, okay, the next good team to invest in is going to be the Extreme X-Men. Now, so Nightcrawler has synergy with all X-Men, which is great because you can pair him with like an Old Man Logan, or even Rogue in here with Extreme is really strong. So a lot of theory crafting possibilities. Even Gambit has X-Men synergy. It gives a bunch of health to all the X-Men, anybody with the X-Men tag. So overall, kind of like the Sinister Six, they have a lot of theory crafting and synergy with a lot of different characters. Even more characters than Sinister Six, of course, but yeah, definitely lots of combos you could do with this team. But this base team is great, still a great investment because they are a raid team as well, and still really strong in war. So the rooms that you would put them in, or if you're going to put them on Crucible defense, I'd probably put them in 4 or 5, maybe 6, but I think 4 or 5 are stronger for them. Okay, next up is going to be Out of Time, and it's all about Black Knight for this team. The bigger the Black Knight, the better. However, the rest of the team is still pretty good. Starbrand gets the most hate just because he's the worst character out of the team, so somebody's got to fill that role. But He does bring a lot of great stuff to the team. He gives the whole team immunity. He has a stun. He has rewind. So he's the most underrated part of the team just because he gets a lot of hate, but he's still not a bad investment. And also you need them for one of the trials, and they're great in war, obviously, great in Crucible, so really great investment. Now if you're going to put them on defense, and it also depends on if you're going to put Black Knight with a different team, but even without Black Knight, they're still going to be good in like room 6, room 5, or room 2. So those are some options for that team. Before we get on to the rest of the teams on the list, I just wanted to make sure that you guys did see the link to my Discord down below. If you join that, we have tons of people willing to help. If you have questions, you just go into our public chat. If you want to see the infographics that I make, you can go into the Brotherhood Infographics channel. We have my channel with my videos and my Twitch streams that you can follow on your server. And we also have what started it all for me was the Stormwatch graphics. So you can also follow those on your server as well. So just wanted to throw that out there. If you haven't joined that already, make sure you check that out as well. All right, so the next team we're going to talk about is Mercs for Money, and kind of crazy, but this team can counter like a Scroll with Annihilators team, and it just works really well because of the mechanics they have. Pandapool always reviving, Deadpool always reviving, Dakin has a lot of great damage. You don't necessarily need to use Deathpool in Crucible. You can. I mean, obviously she has great Crucible abilities. You can sub somebody else in for her if you want to use your New Warriors. Lately, New Warriors has been kind of relegated to a cleanup role or like a really weaker team type role. So they're not really used for some of the stronger teams out there anymore, but it kind of depends on what your opponent has on defense and kind of go from there. But this is a great team to invest in because they can beat one of the hardest teams out there. They're still amazing in war, the best war team out there. So really good place to start investing into those characters. So if you're going to put this team on defense in Crucible, I like them in room 5 or room 6. Room 1 is maybe an option. Some people say it's a waste, but I thought it might be interesting. That's why I put it on my graphic. So there you have it. There's the info for Mercs for Money. Alright, so the next team up is going to be Secret Defenders. Now we're starting to get into the kind of bottom half of the list. I would probably only recommend using them on offense at this point, but they still are a really good offense team to use. I wouldn't invest this much into your Doctor Strange, though. Usually there's a better 5th you can put in there. I just took him to DD6, I think it was. Because he was cheap and he'd just gotten the rework, so that's why I have a bigger Doctor Strange. But yeah, the other 4-piece here is a great investment still, but probably mostly for offense. And like I said, you put it in a 5th and just elevate them that much more, and they're still a really great offensive team. Alright, so the next team is going to be Hive Mind. Now, obviously we need them for raids, and in Crucible, they're starting to fall off a little bit, but they do have some of their uses still. So like if there's a team with a character that has low health and you can get that speed bar early for them with the Void Knight or something, then they can get the train going and they just don't stop. So they're I think they're still in the top 10 discussion for investment. If you're going to use them on defense, I think maybe room 1 would be good for them, just because they can just pile on each other and hopefully start that speed manipulation going. They also could be good in room 4, just because they do get dodges from Gwynnm, so that could be interesting, giving them some extra damage if they're in stealth. Probably the weakest room they'd be in would be room 6, because even though they do have cleanse abilities, they may not be as strong in there. But also, you know, you may want to put in some other good plug-and-play characters to just make them even better too. Like I've seen Black Knight, I've seen Scroll, so just depends on how you want to set up your defense. Alright, the last two teams are a little bit on the lower end, obviously, just for as far as like overall usefulness, because with Illuminati here, it all depends on if you have Captain Britain or if you don't. I took the dive on him because I love Crucible so much, and so if you do have him, definitely would invest in. Not only are they amazing in Crucible, but they also have great use in War, and you can kind of find a little bit of use in the tech raid right now for Hank until the Orcus team comes out. So still, even after the Orcus team comes out, they're still great in War as well. So definitely worth investing if you have Captain Britain. Now, if you don't have Captain Britain, they can still be a really good defense team. If you throw in like a pre-taunt tank in there, especially like a Sasquatch, because Sasquatch will get more health from Hank. So we're going to put this team on defense without Captain Britain. You're going to put in a pre-taunt tank. I would put them in 1 because Shuri has an anti-assist mechanic already, so that will help them survive a little bit longer. They would be good in 2 or 5, maybe even 6. So again, like I said earlier, if you have so many rooms where a team would be good in, you just know that they're going to be great, a great team to invest in. And if you do that pre-taunt tank on defense, I would suggest taking out Iron Man. That's why I haven't really invested in him very much. So there you have it for the info on Illuminati. So this last team was kind of hard for me to recommend just because it's a 3-person team, and the other 2 characters that I would recommend investing in is going to be, to go along with this team, is going to be Kang and Absorbing Man. Just because Absorbing Man's a pre-taunt tank, he has a little bit of synergy with Kang, and then Kang is Kang. He does a great job. He can get a crit early and get the Cabal team running. I didn't feel comfortable like suggesting a full MOE team because they really don't have a lot of use outside of Crucible. But if you do Kang, Absorbing Man, Cabal, they have a lot of great use outside of Crucible as well. You can use them in War, and you can even use Kang and Iron Patriot in the tech lanes as well to help get through that. Again, I've been talking a lot about getting through the tech lanes until Orcus comes out. But even after that, they still will have great use in War. So I took Cabal into DD7, and they did great there as well. So still a good investment. You can use them in DD8 too. So that's what I would go with: Cabal, Kang, and Absorbing Man for your last and final teams to invest in that also help out in other modes. So I'm all about using your resources to your advantage and getting the most out of them. So that's what I like doing. That's part of the game for me, part of the puzzle. So I hope that helps everyone. Make sure you spend those resources wisely, and we will see you around.